When a guy tells you he thinks about you all the time, it's usually a great sign. It shows that he's probably interested in you and would like to spend more time with you. But, how can you really tell? Here are 15 different meanings for when a guy says he thinks about you all the time.
1. He wants to see how you'd react. If you've just met a guy and he's already saying that he thinks about you all the time, then chances are that he's trying to see how you'd react. Even though it may sound sweet and thoughtful, it's actually a way for him to test the ice with you. But why would a guy want to do that? Well, he might be interested in you and just not sure how to approach you. He may feel nervous about making a move, so he's hoping that by telling you he thinks about you all the time, he'll have a chance to get closer to you. If this is the case, then you should take it as a sign that he likes you and wants to get to know you more.
2. He is genuinely concerned about you. Here's another reason why a guy may say he thinks about you all the time. He's concerned about you. Think about this for a second. Did you tell him about something you were going through? Maybe about something you were worried about? If you did, then maybe he's just being sweet and genuinely wants to make sure that you're fine. This could be his way of asking about the situation and making sure you're okay. You see, not everyone can ask questions directly. Each of us has a unique way of approaching other people and interacting with them. If he says he thinks about you all the time because he's concerned about you, then that's really cool. Don't hesitate to open up to him and let him know how things are going.
3. He's giving you a hint about his feelings for you. If a guy says he thinks about you all the time, it could be because he wants to tell you how he feels. Maybe he's been thinking about how great you are and wants to let you know that he's interested in you. It's just not direct enough for him to say it right out of the blue, so this is his way of getting closer to you without being too bold. When a guy says he can't get you out of his head, chances are he's trying to let you know about his true feelings. But how can you be sure? You could ask him follow-up questions, or even give him a hint about your feelings for him. For example, you could say, "Oh really? I'm curious why, or I must admit it. You've crossed my mind a couple of times, too."
4. You may have triggered his hero instinct. So, this guy told you that he thinks about you all the time. What gives? Did you do something to catch his attention, or is he just trying to hit on you? Well, what if he feels like you need help and because of that, he has to save you? Yes, I know it sounds corny, but hear me out. There's a new theory in the relationship world that's causing quite a stir. It's called the hero instinct. Coined by relationship expert James Bauer, this fascinating concept finally explains how men really think and feel in relationships. And it's something most women have never even heard of. According to James Bauer, men don't actually need a lot to feel content in their relationships. In fact, what they need has nothing to do with sex. Men have certain innate drivers. And when a woman comes along and triggers them, it causes a powerful response. The result is a man who loves harder, commits wholeheartedly, and truly dedicates himself to the relationship. You see, you may have already triggered his hero instinct, but if you'd like to learn more, the easiest thing to do is to watch this simple and genuine video by James Bauer. The truth is, once you understand how the hero instinct works, there's no telling what heights your relationship can reach. So if you want to make sure his hero instinct is triggered, check out James Bauer's excellent video. In it, he reveals the exact texts and phrases you can use straight away to make him feel like your hero even more.
5. He is interested in sleeping with you. Look, when a guy says he thinks about you all the time, it doesn't necessarily mean that he cares about you.
How so?
Well, by saying that, he could in fact be trying to tell you that he's interested in sleeping with you. He may think that since he's telling you how much he thinks about you, it will give him a better chance of getting some action. How can you tell? Well, ask yourself these questions. If the answers are yes, then it's quite possible that he's interested in you only for sex.
6. He's interested in going steady with you.
If a guy says he thinks about you all the time, it could be because he wants to tell you how he feels.
Depending on how well he knows you, he might not be able to tell you how he feels directly. It's just not his style. So, the next best thing for him is to say that he thinks about you all the time.
Why?
Because that way, you'll know that he's interested in you and willing to take the time to get to know you. You see, sometimes guys like to make it seem like they're not interested, but they just don't know how to approach a woman. So, instead, they say something along the lines of, "I can't get you out of my head."
7. He might want to reconnect with you. Let me ask you this. Is this guy someone you were in a relationship with at some point in your life? If so, then he might just be saying this because he wants to reconnect with you.
How so?
Well, if you've previously dated and things didn't go well, he may be trying to rekindle the old flames. However, if you were never in a relationship with each other, then it's possible that he wants to get to know you better. Maybe you've sparked his interest and he wants to get to know you more.
8. He is infatuated with you. Here's another possible meaning for when a guy says he thinks about you all the time. The guy is infatuated with you. If this is the case, then he's definitely not saying it just to be sweet or thoughtful. He's just saying it because he likes you and wants to get closer to you. A man's infatuation with a woman is a pretty strong feeling, so you can't just ignore it. But what does it really mean when a man is infatuated with you? A man's infatuation can be described as a strong attraction for a woman who, at first glance, may seem unattainable. Can you relate? If you can't, but you'd like to make him infatuated with you, then I have news for you. Dating and relationship coach Clayton Max has developed sets of phrases that are guaranteed to make any man infatuated with you. These phrases reach men on a deep primal level. Most women don't know about this, which is why they struggle to keep a man's infatuation.
9. He could fear losing you. It's possible that when a guy says he thinks about you all the time, he might be afraid of losing you. Let me explain. This guy might be afraid that he'll lose you, so he's trying to make sure that you stick around. He may feel alone because you're the only one who understands him and gets him. For some guys, this can be quite terrifying. Maybe he thinks losing you will leave him all alone in his life. Maybe if he can't have you, then he'll end up feeling depressed and miserable. Or, he might be afraid of being rejected by you. If this is the case, then he's trying to make sure that he's in a position to get your attention.
10. He prefers hanging out with you over anything else. When a guy says he thinks about you all the time, it could mean that he loves spending time with you. And if he says it when he's somewhere else, doing something with other people, then there's a chance that he's telling the truth. In other words, he prefers hanging out with you over anyone else. If this is true, then there's a good chance that he wants to get to know you better. He might not be looking for a relationship right now, but he could definitely be interested in getting to know you better and seeing where it goes.
11. He can't get you out of his head. Have you considered the fact he could simply try to explain that he can't get you out of his head, without any hidden meaning? If he says that he can't get you out of his head, then he may be telling you the truth. He may actually like you, but don't mistake this for love just yet. Just because a guy likes you doesn't mean that he's in love with you. So, if he says that he can't get you out of his head, don't jump to any conclusions just yet. It could be that he doesn't know what he's feeling, but one thing is for sure, he thinks about you all the time.
12. He had a moment of nostalgia. When a guy says he thinks about you all the time, it could mean that he loves spending time with you. What does this mean? Well, sometimes when we're in the middle of doing something, we can think back to the past and remember something that happened. This can be a special event or something memorable. It's basically just having a flashback to an important time in our life. This guy could have had a moment of nostalgia while he was doing something, and it brought him back to a special memory with you. And this is what determined him to tell you those sweet words.
13. He has a crush on you. You can also tell that a guy has a crush on you when he says he thinks about you all the time. A guy who is in love with a woman will say this just to show his interest and make sure she knows that he cares about her. However, if a guy is crushing on you, then there's more to it than being just friendly and sweet. This guy could like you and really want to take things to the next level. What's more is that he may also be trying to make you feel special, loved, and appreciated. If this guy says he thinks about you all the time, then there's a good chance that he's crushing on you and trying to get your attention.
14. He is trying to seduce you. When a guy says he thinks about you all the time, it could mean that he loves spending time with you. How does this work? Well, if a guy is trying to seduce you, then he's definitely not saying it just to be sweet. He's saying it to make you feel wanted to the point where he can't stop thinking about you. So, if this is the case, then you may want to take him seriously. If a guy is trying to seduce you, then he probably thinks you're pretty special and worth his time.
But how can you be sure?
Think about the other things he does and says to you. If he's constantly trying to get your attention and make you feel special, then he could be trying to seduce you.
15. You are somehow special to him. Another meaning for when a guy says he thinks about you all the time could be that you are somehow special to him. Maybe you were there for him when he needed someone to talk to, and now he thinks about you all the time. If this is the case, then it's possible that he thinks that you're really special and wants to get to know you better. He may be trying to avoid the feeling of loneliness because you may make him feel like he has someone with whom to share his thoughts and feelings. It could also be possible that he needs you and is trying to have you as part of his life. Subscribe, like and share. Thanks for watching this video.